In 1974, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was made, based on the true story of American serial killer Ed Gein, who was a butcher of Plainfield, Wisconsin in 1957. His crimes would later inspire the classic film. A decade before would influence Psycho. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre would have audiences leaving the theater in fear. In 2003, that fear would resurface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Directed by Marcus Nispel and starring Jessica Biel, this is one remake that definitely lives up to the original, with flawless cinematography and tone, approaching itself darker than the comedic sequels in the original franchise. I loved the original. You could feel the humidity and the intensity the further the film went on, and same goes for the remake. That had new characters and a story where it could easily be considered a reboot. Both films are completely different and takes itself seriously, which a story like this should. The family name changed from Sawyer to Hewitt, which is an Old English word for chop, which is more subtle than having the word Saw in your name. John Larroquette, the narrator at the first, came back to bring his haunting voice to the beginning and end of the film that fits both in an entirely different world and atmosphere, which is so strong you can actually smell the rotting meat of corpses from the past victims in the moldy, rusty environment. The location they used for the Hewitt house was located in Walburg, Texas. And you can't have a Chainsaw Massacre movie without the Texas. And you can't have a slasher without gore, and both have plenty. It really gets under your skin. The director also went on to direct the Friday the 13th remake. Both films were equally disturbing and entertaining in their own right. The 2003 horror film got in a sequel, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, 3 years later in 2006. Now explaining the family's origin, directed by Jonathan Liebsman. You had the cannibal family with the cast returning Arlie Ermey, Andrew Bernarski, and Marietta Marich, that made the family so real and sickly depraved. We get the same tone and feel in the sequel, a group backtracking across Texas finding themselves in the most bizarre and vile crimes ever recorded. The origin story isn't as good as the first, but it's still better than any of the other sequels. And if you're a fan of the 2003 remake, I definitely recommend this one. It's a shame they didn't continue with more sequels in this style, because they finally got it right, of not being able to achieve it since the 1974 classic. And both, throughout the majority of the films, have very little score, which makes it even feel more realistic. All you can hear is the chainsaw getting closer and closer, which makes the final approach even more terrifying. If you enjoyed my review, please subscribe, comment, leave a like, or even check out my fan film based on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The link's in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, y'all. Y'all come back now, you hear?
The killing spree is universally considered one of the most notorious and perversely sadistic crimes in the annals of American history. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Sometimes every boy becomes a man. I'm glad you brought your little buddy.